The Awakening Storm. The vastness of space held many secrets, but perhaps none as misunderstood as humanity. For centuries, the Zexorian Empire had reigned supreme across 12 star systems, their massive fleet of biomechanical vessels inspiring both awe and terror. With their ridged exoskeletons and six-limbed bodies, the Zexorians believed themselves to be the pinnacle of evolution, superior in every way to the primitive bipeds of Earth. They're nothing but animals with crude technology, Supreme Admiral Cragg declared, his voice echoing through the command chamber of the Eternal Dominance, the Empire's flagship. Holographic displays showed Earth's solar system, an insignificant speck on the edge of Zexorian territory. Their vessels are primitive, their weapons underdeveloped. They've barely expanded beyond their home system. The gathered War Council nodded in agreement. Intelligence reports showed Earth possessed only a small defense fleet stationed around their homeworld, and major colonies on Mars and Europa. Their technology appeared to be standard ion propulsion and basic kinetic weaponry, nothing that could stand against the Empire's quantum disruptors or gravitic shields. "We need resources, and their system has them in abundance," Cragg continued, his clawed hand sweeping across the display. "The primitives will surrender quickly once they witness our might." What the Zexorians didn't know, what they couldn't comprehend, was that humanity's apparent technological stagnation was deliberate. After first contact with alien races a century earlier, Earth's leaders had made a calculated decision. They would appear weak and underdeveloped while secretly preparing for the day when one of the galactic powers decided Earth was ripe for conquest. That day had arrived. In the underground command center beneath the Olympus Mons colony on Mars, Commander Ilara Hayes stood before the assembled captains of Earth's defense fleet. At 42, Hayes was a veteran of the Silent War, the covert operations and technological development program that had prepared humanity for this exact moment. "The Zexorian fleet has crossed the Kuiper Belt," she announced, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. 17 warships, including their flagship, are on an intercept course. They'll reach Neptune's orbit in 36 hours. Captain Miguel Chin of the EDF Thunderchild leaned forward. "So it begins. After all this time, we finally get to unveil what we've been building." "The question is," interjected Captain Edivayo of the Silent Dawn, "how much do we reveal? Do we show them everything at once, or hold back some surprises?" Hayes studied the tactical display, showing the approaching Zexorian fleet. Each ship was a massive construct of living metal and crystalline energy nodes, beautiful in its alien design, but terrifying in its destructive capability. According to intelligence gathered from other species, a single Zexorian cruiser could reduce a small moon to rubble. "We reveal only what we must," Hayes decided. "The NOVA systems remain hidden unless absolutely necessary. Phase 1 defensive capabilities only. Let them underestimate us for as long as possible." The captains nodded grimly. They had trained for years, preparing for this inevitable confrontation. The public knew nothing of the true capabilities of Earth's fleet. The visible ships, the ones shown in parades and media broadcasts, were merely shells, conventional vessels that hid their true nature. "Deploy to your assigned positions," Hayes ordered. "Remember, we're not just fighting for Earth. We're fighting to change how the galaxy sees humanity forever." Admiral Vex of the Zexorian Empire watched with mild interest as Earth's defensive fleet moved to intercept. 12 small vessels arranged in a standard defensive formation, exactly what their intelligence had predicted. His second-in-command, Sub-Admiral Zrel, seemed almost disappointed. "This will be over quickly," Zrel remarked, mandibles clicking in what passed for amusement among their kind. "They don't even have proper energy shielding. Their hulls will collapse under the first barrage." Vex wasn't so certain. Something about the humans' tactics seemed odd. They weren't positioning themselves to flee or to guard specific approach vectors to Earth. Instead, they were spreading out in what appeared to be a deliberately vulnerable formation. "Open a communication channel," Vex ordered. Let's see if they have the sense to surrender. The main view screen flickered to life, showing a human female with dark skin and close-cropped hair. Her uniform was simple, lacking the ornate decorations that Zexorian officers wore to display their achievements. This is Commander Ilara Hayes of the Earth Defense Fleet. You have entered sovereign human space without authorization. Withdraw immediately. Vex's upper eye ridge rose slightly at the human's audacity. I am Admiral Vex of the Zexorian Empire. Your solar system now falls under Imperial protection. Surrender your vessels and prepare your government for integration into the Empire. Resistance will result in your destruction. Hayes' expression didn't change. We decline your generous offer. Admiral, the people of Earth do not surrender to threats. Then you leave us no choice, Vex replied, signaling to end the transmission. He turned to his weapons officer. Target their lead vessel. Show them the consequence of defiance. The Eternal Dominance's main quantum disruptor powered up, gathering energy from the ship's core. A lance of brilliant purple energy shot forth, streaking across space toward the human vessel Thunderchild. What happened next would forever change how the Zexorian Empire viewed humanity. The beam struck the Earth vessel square on, and then seemed to shimmer around it, as though striking an invisible barrier. The Thunderchild remained intact, showing no sign of damage. Impossible, Zrel whispered, mandibles frozen in shock. Our sensors detected no energy shields. Again, Vex commanded, his calm exterior cracking slightly. Full power. A second blast, more powerful than the first, shot toward the human ship. This time, the beam didn't simply disperse. It seemed to be absorbed by the vessel, which began to glow with an eerie blue light. Then, without warning, the human ships moved, not with the conventional thrust of ion engines, but with a sudden, impossible acceleration that defied the laws of physics as the Zexorians understood them. The Earth vessels seemed to fold space around themselves, appearing at new positions throughout the Zexorian formation. What is this? Vex demanded as alarms blared across his command deck. How are they moving like that? Before anyone could answer, the human vessels opened fire. Not with kinetic projectiles or crude plasma weapons, but with tightly focused beams of golden energy that cut through Zexorian shields as if they weren't there. Two smaller Imperial vessels erupted into flames as the beams sliced through critical systems. Impossible, Zrel repeated, his voice hollow with disbelief. Their technology. It's far beyond what our intelligence suggested. Vex stared at the tactical display in stunned silence. The humans had deceived them, had deceived the entire galaxy about their technological capabilities. What else had they hidden? As if in answer to his unspoken question, a new alert sounded. Sensors detected energy signatures appearing from nowhere, where empty space had been moments before. Suddenly there were ships, dozens of them, emerging from what appeared to be localized spatial distortions. Stealth vessels, Vex realized aloud, his voice barely audible over the chaos erupting around him. They've developed perfect cloaking technology. The newly revealed Earth ships were different from the first wave. Larger, more angular, with pulsing lines of blue energy running along their hulls. They moved with the same reality-defying speed, positioning themselves to surround the Imperial fleet. Commander Hayes' voice came through on all frequencies, calm and resolute. Admiral Vex, this is your final warning. The Earth Defense Fleet possesses technologies your intelligence failed to detect. We have no desire for war, but we will defend ourselves with all means at our disposal. Withdraw now or face the consequences of your aggression. Vex felt something he hadn't experienced in decades of military service. Fear. The humans had not only weapons that could penetrate Zexorian shields, but movement technology that rendered conventional tactics useless, and whom knew what other surprises they had waiting. Pull back, he ordered, his pride giving way to pragmatism. Defensive formation. Prepare for emergency fold space jump. But even as the Imperial fleet began to regroup, Vex knew that everything had changed. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, and the Zexorian Empire was about to pay the price for that mistake. Meanwhile, on the bridge of the Thunderchild, Captain Chen allowed himself a small smile as he watched the Zexorian vessels fall into disarray. "Looks like the deception worked," he said to his first officer. "They really had no idea what they were walking into." "And they still don't," the officer replied, gesturing to a readout showing energy building in the hidden compartments of their hull. "They haven't even seen what we can really do yet." Chen nodded, his expression turning serious again. "Let's hope they're smart enough to retreat, because if they aren't—" He left the thought unfinished, but everyone on the bridge understood. If the Zexorians chose to continue this fight, they would witness the full extent of humanity's technological revolution, and it would be the last thing many of them ever saw. The Reckoning. Admiral Vex's command center had transformed from a place of confident authority to a desperate war room in less than an hour. Damage reports flooded in from across the fleet, while tactical officers scrambled to make sense of the humans' impossible technology. 3 Zexorian vessels had already been disabled, their quantum cores breached by weapons that shouldn't exist. "How?" Vex demanded, slamming a clawed fist onto the tactical display. "How did we miss this? Their technology is decades beyond what our intelligence suggested." Sub-Admiral Zrel frantically reviewed archived data. "They deceived everyone, not just us. Trade inspections, diplomatic exchanges, scientific cooperation. They'd been presenting obsolete technology to the galaxy for generations while developing something entirely different in secret." Vex's compound eyes narrowed as he studied the human fleet's movements. Their ships didn't move like conventional vessels. They somehow manipulated space itself, appearing almost instantaneously at new coordinates without visible acceleration. More disturbing still was their ability to absorb energy weapons and seemingly redirect that power to their own systems. "The Empire hasn't faced a technological surprise like this since the Derelict Wars," Zrel said quietly, referring to a dark chapter of Zexorian history when they had discovered, and foolishly attempted to claim, ancient technology far beyond their understanding. Vex made his decision. "We withdraw to regroup and reassess. The Emperor must be informed of this development." But before the retreat order could be implemented, sensors detected a massive energy surge from Earth's direction. Space itself seemed to ripple as something enormous emerged from what appeared to be a controlled spatial rift. "By the 7 moons," breathed the sensor officer, mandibles trembling. "Look at the size of it." The EDF Prometheus was Earth's masterpiece, a vessel 3 times larger than any previously revealed to the galaxy. Unlike the sleek, utilitarian designs of conventional human ships, the Prometheus was a marvel of elegant engineering. Its hull featured intricate geometric patterns that pulsed with blue-white energy, flowing like liquid light across its surface. Commander Hayes stood on its command deck, surrounded by holographic displays showing every aspect of the unfolding battle. The Prometheus had remained hidden in dimensional slip space, humanity's greatest technological achievement, until this moment. Its existence was Earth's final deterrent, meant to be revealed only in the direst circumstances. "The Zexorians are preparing to retreat," reported Captain Sato, the Prometheus's commanding officer. "Shall we let them go?" Hayes considered the question carefully. Letting the Imperial fleet escape meant they would return with reinforcements, but destroying them completely would send a message of aggression to the galaxy that might unite other powers against Earth. "No," she decided. "We need to demonstrate our capabilities clearly, but without annihilation. Target their propulsion systems only. They leave when we permit it, and with a message for their Emperor." Aboard the Eternal Dominance, panic ensued as the tactical implications of the new human vessel became clear. It wasn't merely larger than expected. Sensors indicated energy readings that defied classification. "Evacuation pods ready, Admiral," Zrel reported, already accepting the inevitable. "We can save at least 30% of the crew." Vex stared at the massive human ship with a mixture of fear and reluctant admiration. How had they hidden such technology? Such advancement? The Zexorians prided themselves on their intelligence networks, on knowing the capabilities of every species in their sphere of influence. This failure would shake the Empire to its core. No, Vex said finally. No evacuation. Concentrate all power on shields. We will not run. Before Drell could protest, every Zexorian vessel suddenly lost power. Their quantum cores, the heart of Imperial technology, simply went dormant, as if switched off by an invisible hand. Emergency systems flickered on, providing life support, but nothing else. What just happened? Vex demanded, his voice barely audible in the suddenly darkened command center. Some kind of energy pulse, the science officer replied, working frantically at a backup terminal. It specifically targeted our quantum signature matrices. They knew exactly how our technology works and precisely how to disable it. A communication request flashed on the emergency screen. With no options remaining, Vex authorized the connection. Commander Hayes appeared, her expression neither triumphant nor threatening, simply resolute. Admiral Vex, your vessels have been temporarily disabled. Your quantum cores will reactivate in exactly 24 hours, enough time for you to leave our solar system peacefully. How? The question escaped Vex before he could maintain his dignity. How is this possible? Hayes allowed herself a small smile. For a century, we've been studying the technology of every spacefaring race we encountered. Not to steal it, to understand it, to find its weaknesses, to develop counters for the day someone decided Earth was an easy target. She leaned forward slightly. The Zexorian Empire isn't the first to underestimate humanity, Admiral, but we hope you'll be the last. 3 days later, Commander Hayes stood before the United Earth Council, delivering her report on what the media had already dubbed the Neptune Confrontation. The 12 council members represented Earth and all its colonies from Mars to the moons of Jupiter and beyond. The Imperial fleet has withdrawn beyond our sensor range, Hayes explained. Our intelligence suggests they've returned to Zexorian territory to report what happened. We should expect diplomatic contact within weeks. Council President Okafor nodded thoughtfully. And our casualties? None, Madam President. The NOVA shielding performed beyond expectations. There was minor damage to 2 vessels, but nothing that can't be repaired quickly. And the Zexorians? No confirmed fatalities. Several of their ships sustained significant damage, but their life support remained intact. A murmur of approval ran through the council chamber. Earth's policy had always been clear: defend without unnecessary destruction, show strength without cruelty. It was one of the many ways humans differed from the empire-building species that dominated galactic politics. The question now, said Councillor Singh, is how the rest of the galaxy will react. We've just revealed technological capabilities we've kept hidden for generations. The other powers won't take this lightly. Hayes nodded in agreement. That's why we only revealed what was necessary: the dimensional slip drive, the NOVA shields, the targeted EMP pulse. These were calculated revelations. We still have advantages that remain unknown. President Okafor stood, signaling the formal conclusion of the briefing. Commander Hayes, please convey my congratulations to the entire Earth Defense Fleet. Today marks a new chapter for humanity. We no longer need to hide in the shadows of galactic politics. As the council session ended, Hayes found herself standing at a panoramic window overlooking the sprawling lunar city of Armstrong. Earth hung in the black sky, beautiful and blue, the cradle of a species that had almost been conquered numerous times throughout its violent history. A species that had learned, painfully, the importance of preparation and foresight. Captain Chen joined her at the window. Quite a view. Indeed, Hayes replied. What do you think the Zexorians are doing right now? Chen chuckled softly, completely redesigning their understanding of humanity. I imagine. Their intelligence agencies are probably being purged as we speak. We never wanted this conflict, Hayes said quietly. But perhaps now we'll get the respect necessary to avoid future ones. Peace through superior technology, Chen mused. An old concept with a new twist. Hayes turned from the window. It won't be that simple. The other powers will react differently. Some will seek alliances, others will accelerate their own research programs. The Arctian Collective will likely propose technological exchange treaties. And the Zexorians. They're an empire. Empires don't handle humiliation well. Hayes' expression darkened slightly. This isn't over. It's just changing form. But we've bought ourselves time and a seat at the table. In the Imperial Palace on Zexoria Prime, Emperor Calvor listened in stunned silence as Admiral Vex completed his report. The gathered Imperial Court, normally a hopped of political maneuvering and whispered conspiracies, was uncharacteristically quiet. "Let me understand correctly," the Emperor finally said, his voice dangerously soft. "A species we considered primitive not only repelled our fleet but disabled it completely without suffering casualties." Vex lowered his head in acknowledgement of the humiliating truth. "Their technology appeared to be specifically designed to counter ours, Your Eminence. They knew our weaknesses as if they had built our ships themselves." The Emperor's chief scientist, a wizened Zexorian with faded exoskeletal plates, stepped forward hesitantly. "If I may, Your Eminence, the data Admiral Vex has brought back suggests the humans possess technology that violates our understanding of physics. Their spatial manipulation capabilities alone would revolutionize our research if we could obtain even fragments of it." Emperor Calvor's compound eyes focused on the massive galactic display dominating the throne room wall. Earth's solar system was highlighted in red, no longer a target for easy conquest, but a newly recognized threat. "Send diplomatic envoys," the Emperor ordered, surprising many of the court advisors who had expected a call for vengeance. "We will acknowledge their strength and propose formal relations." "Your Eminence," Vex questioned, confused by this seemingly conciliatory approach. The Emperor's mandibles clicked in what those who knew him recognized as cold calculation. "The humans have revealed some of their capabilities, Admiral, but not all. I suspect they are like the thorn beetles of the southern swamps, showing their stingers only when necessary, keeping their most potent venom hidden." He gestured to the galactic display, where dozens of other spacefaring civilizations were marked. "We must learn more, understand their weaknesses as thoroughly as they appear to understand ours. And when we do—" He left the thought unfinished, but everyone in the Imperial Court understood. The Zexorian Empire had existed for millennia by adapting, by absorbing the strengths of those it encountered. The humans and their surprising technology would eventually be no different. Back on Earth, in the same underground facility where humanity's secret technological revolution had begun a century earlier, a small team of scientists and engineers gathered around a crystalline device floating above a pedestal. Unlike the technology revealed during the confrontation with the Zexorians, this was something different, something even most of Earth's leadership didn't know existed. Dr. Eliza Chen, great-grandmother of Captain Miguel Chen, touched the holographic controls with practiced precision. At 98 years old, she had dedicated her life to this project. "The confluence is stable," she announced to the assembled team. The quantum entanglement network detected significant attention during the fleet action, but no direct probing. Admiral Hiroshi Tanaka, the true architect of Earth's defense strategy, nodded in satisfaction. "Then our greatest secret remains safe. For now," Dr. Chen cautioned. "But the galaxy is watching us more closely than ever. The Zexorians were just the beginning. Others will come, with diplomacy first, perhaps, but eventually with more sophisticated attempts to uncover what we can truly do." Tanaka studied the confluence, the quantum consciousness that had guided humanity's technological development for the past century. Not artificial intelligence as ancient humans had conceived it, but something far more profound. A symbiotic merging of human ingenuity with quantum computational capabilities that transcended traditional understanding. "Then we continue as planned," Tanaka decided. Phase 2 begins immediately. The Neptune confrontation bought us time, but we can't become complacent. Humanity's journey is just beginning. Dr. Chen smiled, her aged face reflecting both wisdom and anticipation. The stars are no longer a destination, Admiral. They're our inheritance. As night fell across Earth's continents, citizens celebrated their unexpected victory, unaware that it was merely the opening move in a much larger game. Humanity had announced its presence on the galactic stage, not as a primitive curiosity, but as a force to be respected, perhaps even feared. And in the darkness between stars, other civilizations took notice, recalculating their understanding of the universe and the unexpected players who had suddenly changed its rules.